made my goal, but then I was like, I'm gonna go 2,000.
I love it.
I made $2,000 last night. I'm so excited.
You had a big month. You hit your 12-month consistency with being paid at title as a director, never not making it. You passed your 100 team member mark, and you hit your 2,000 goal. That's awesome. Oh, look at all these fun faces. I love seeing you guys on here live. Very good. Good job, Brianna. Okay, somebody else tell me what's something good that happened this week?
I hit level 1 of the incentive.
Woohoo! That's really big. Good job, Erin. You are just hustling so hard. That's awesome. Way to go.
Thank you.
Okay, who else has a yay moment? What else do we celebrate?
I also paid a title.
Woo! Paid a title. Yay, that was your goal. I love that you made a goal and you worked to make it happen. That is awesome. Good job, Naomi. Okay, who else was saying something?
I reached 1,000 PRV this month as well. So.
Yay, Alicia, that's awesome. Good job. That's moving. Good job. Good job. Samantha, I know you have something to say.
Yes, I am paid at title and I'll be at 1,000 tomorrow. So
yes, that's so awesome. Promoted to lead. That's so great. I love seeing these promotions rolling in. You guys are just cranking. Seriously, between you guys are the ones making it happen. You are the ones being paid at title. You are the ones setting your goals, and you are the ones promoting and earning the incentives. So just goes to show the workers are the ones who show up and who are working and participate in programs like this and aren't afraid to push themselves and make big things happen. So good. Okay, Michelle, how about you? What's something yay of the week for you? What's good in your world? Still muted, sweets. There you go.
There we go. I don't know. I haven't really met any of my goals. So
did you make progress towards them?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Okay, what'd you do?
Yeah. And I'm at least active.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Sometimes you just got to keep chugging. So yay, that's awesome. Okay, very good. And that there is something huge to be said for momentum and forward progress. And some people like to make big goals because that helps them keep that momentum going. And other people don't like to make goals and they just like to be headed in a direction and just say, I'm gonna run through this. So find what works for you. If you need an accountability partner, that's the beauty of these tiny teams as well, as you can say, this is my goal. We have a brand new month coming up. Tomorrow we have final push for this month. And then starting in April, we have a whole brand new month before us. So think about what you'd like to accomplish or what you're aiming for, and find an accountability partner. You can tell your tiny teams if you would like to, if that helps you, or if it drives you crazy like it drives me crazy and Rihanna crazy. I don't like to tell my goals either. I like to make them, and I like to have I also don't like to have things scheduled in my calendar. It kind of makes me feel trapped, imprisoned. I like to have a list of things that I'm doing. And then if I decide to move them around or if one takes longer, then I can just be like, okay, I'm doing my thing. So I think that's why goals just kind of make me feel a little trapped, but it doesn't mean I'm not working, but it also doesn't mean that I have something to celebrate, because if I haven't made the goal, then I can't really celebrate it. But so find your style. But the most important thing is just to make sure you are moving forward and get that momentum, because the more you can keep your business rolling, it's kind of like a merry-go-round at the park. If you it takes a whole lot of effort to start it and to get it going. And sometimes that momentum just doesn't catch. Erin, you've been pushing for a long time, pushing really hard with a lot of might. You haven't given up. And you're just now finally, after how many years has it been?
It'll be 10 years in November.
10 years in November. She's finally starting to see some traction. And but if you stop and go, and if you're kind of like, oh, well, push this month and then I'll kind of sit back, and then I'll push again in a couple months and then I'll kind of sit back, then you're always having to start that momentum over and over again. And it's hard to keep things rolling. So keep things rolling, keep momentum going. And you'll find that it picks up speed, and then you're not always starting all over. So, and Monique and Andrew, thanks for joining us. Look at this fun little group we have today. Hello, hello. Okay, Well, let's dive right in. Today we get to talk. I decided to speed it up because I kind of feel like you guys are like, oh, this is dragging. And you're doing a great job hanging in there and reading the chapters and doing the challenges. But I thought, okay, these two definitely go together. So I decided to combine chapters 5 and 6. Did you notice that? Snuck that in there. I decided to do it last minute because I was like, they really go really well together. So we're gonna make them twins. We're gonna talk about them together. So what did you guys see? What is the link between the two? Why do you think I combined them? Is there anything? Is there any link for you guys between the two? Power prospecting and power presenting.
When I was reading it, it was like reiterating from one chapter to the next. Like there were a lot of points that she covered twice. And so for me, it was like, oh, this is like solidify that info into my brain so that it's there and I can repeat the process.
Awesome. Very good. Very good. Thanks, Naomi. That's perfect. And I found the same thing. So I was like, all right, well, let's just combine them, because it's just like Erin mentioned last week, how it's interesting, the correlation between high sales and high recruiting and keeping your business running, because a lot of times those those actions that bring in sales and keep that part of your business moving will help funnel in your opportunities to present the opportunity for somebody to join you as well. So that's good. Whether you lead with the opportunity or lead with hosting or lead with buying, whatever it is, that's generally speaking, not always, but generally speaking, how you're going to keep that business revved for growth as well. So power prospecting and power presenting, to me, they just go hand in hand because it's that well-oiled machine. So for most of our time today, we're going to go through this that I put, this fun little guide that our very own famous Dave Sattler made. So we'll go through that and I'll help you, because it really is, it's a great guide, and it really helps to kind of, all these ideas and topics swirl around, and we know we should do this and we know we should do this, and then we read about how to do this, but going through this guide and actually writing your own story, your own pitch, seeing how it'll happen, determining who you're going to talk to about it, that really helps put it in place, put it in motion. Okay, so since none of you have recruited 20 this month, I know, because there's some of you that have done a great job. 3, Erin, good job. You know, what do you think is the biggest thing that is stopping you from sponsoring? You guys are my leaders, you are my rock stars, and you guys are still having a hard time with huge hyper growth and growing. What do you feel like in your business is the biggest thing that is holding you back from sponsoring?
I can go first. For me personally, it's getting out there and meeting new circles, because we have spent this entire year in quarantine working from home. I don't have coworkers anyway, but I have went through every single person on social media and I recruited them for the last incentive. So like my frontline grew crazy, and now it's the same people I'm asking because I haven't expanded. I haven't, and I noticed that when I join, like I Bible study hop, then I get new customers. And I was telling my husband, it's so sad, but like, should I join another Zoom group? I mean, it's what I'm going to have to do, is get out there. And I think that's what's stalling me, is just my circles. I'm not moving.
Well, and that's a very valid point, because you're not worried about what to say once you find somebody who's interested. You're not worried about closing the deal or the excuse busting of I can't afford it, or there's too many consultants, or any of that. That's down the road. You're just saying, I need to work on power prospecting, which is exactly what this chapter is for. Because if you don't have anybody that you're meeting, how do you even talk to them? So that is exactly key. That's perfect. Good job. And I do love that she talked about, you said, well, should I Bible hop? Should I Bible study hop? Should I join another group? She talks about that. She talks about how that is actually a valid way. There are a lot of different ones, and she lists a lot of them. But one of her ways that she says is joining networking groups, which could even just be groups on Facebook. If you love pug dogs, join a group on Facebook that is similarly interested to you, so you can genuinely participate in the group. Don't just sit there and then PM people or slide into their DMs, as Rihanna taught me to say, and bug people or make it fake or make it all about yourself. Join a group. If this is your tactic, there's a lot of different ways to do it, but join a Facebook group where you really can participate. Maybe it's, something about a hobby. Maybe it's a local group, maybe it's a mom's group, whatever it is. Find something where you would really truly find people that are like-minded like you, so they're naturally going to be drawn to you, and then find ways to give value and comment and build real relationships. And then they will go and snoop your profile, because don't pretend like you don't do it, and they'll be like, oh, she's got Scentsy on there, this looks fun. And especially if you've made it look fun on social media, and you have the 80-20 rule, 80% real life, 20% Scentsy, so they can see who you are, and not just your business, but also not just your life and never Scentsy. Then that's a great place to prospect. So yeah, that was her tip number 7, was networking groups or chamber events. So that can be in real life, or that can be through social media. So yeah, very good point. Who else? What else do you feel like is keeping you from sponsoring? Are you in the same boat as Rihanna, or is there something different for you?
Go ahead.
No, you go. Okay. I find it takes a while for me to come out of my shell. So I find it really difficult just to, when you meet strangers and things, just to start up a conversation and, start talking. So that's my biggest problem. I need to get out there and talk more with people. So, and on social media as well, I tend to just watch what's happening. I don't tend to post very much. I always find that I'm struggling to find content to post on social media, to try and not make it all about Scentsy, and just try and slip a little bit of Scentsy in there. So yeah, I definitely don't post enough on social media. So
well, and that's a very valid point. And Michelle, I know that you're so shy, and I know that it's really hard for you to talk to people you don't know, which is totally fine. Then don't talk to people you don't know. You know what I mean? There's a lot of different ways. Maybe you would focus more on referrals, so that you're having your friends send people your way, or there are a lot of different ways. And like I said, she put even 11 in this chapter of different ways that you can do it. So if you're just like, I just can't do social media, either figure out, is that something you can get over and work through? And there are tons of lists on like on Pinterest or whatever, of different ideas to post every day. So if you want to develop that side of you, that's definitely a talent and a skill that, just like cooking, you can get better at social media if that's something that you're interested in. Or you might just be like, you know what, I just don't want to. That's not feeling good to me. I don't want to develop that muscle. That's okay. Go a different way. Whatever you're doing, find what's you, and it's going to stretch you no matter what it is, because this is scary and hard no matter which direction you take. But if it's something that you can live with, go that direction. If not, find a different way to do it. That's okay. So good. Thanks, Michelle, for sharing and being vulnerable. That's it's scary. It really is. It's hard. Okay, Erin.
Mine, I used to be the getting out there and making those connections, but the Facebook Lives with the Google form has been a lifesaver for me. But now it's making the connection, the jump. So even if they have interest, it's necessary, like it's not necessarily excuse busting, but definitely excuse busting at the same time. But just that leap from the interest to the actual, I'm going to do this.
Very good. Very good. And are you finding, like, what's your tactic to go from, I don't know you, you are just a guest at my party, to, oh, hey, let's be friends and talk about stuff? Do you friend request them? Do you send them PMs? Do you send them information in their packet that's helping?
So with everybody that fills out the Google form, that's my easiest gateway, is because I always connect with them on whatever they put on their Google form. Oh, I see you have pets. I've got this. You might want to try this product, that kind of thing. Right. And after a few conversations, then I'm like, oh yeah, you also put on your Google form that you might be interested or might know somebody that's interested, but it's just closing that door.
Yeah, perfect. Well, and like you said, I think once you recognize what it is that you are missing, then you know where to focus, and then you can start brainstorming or asking for help, or asking your tiny team, or other successful consultants, and just say, this is where I'm at. What have you done to be successful? Because you've narrowed it down. Instead of just like, how do I sponsor? You can be like, hey, I'm doing this and doing this. how have you seen that it helps? And then that can help you very narrowly, you know, narrow down your answers and your questions. So good job. You guys are all doing such good things. And if nothing else, it's just about doing and trying something new and keeping it top of mind. It's like I talk about putting on your recruiting glasses. Everything is still there around me in the world, but until I have my glasses or my contacts on, I can't see it. And I can't see things that are right in front of my face, and I can't see things clearly. So putting on those recruiting glasses, that means your team is around you somewhere. You just can't see them because they're not in focus yet. So when you put on your recruiting glasses, that helps you be able to see opportunities or create them if you need to find ways that you could find your team and help them come and get started. It doesn't have to take a long time, and it doesn't have to take a lot of people. Sometimes you find one rock star, they change your whole business. Or sometimes, and she talks about that as well, to where it's almost like a numbers game. Not that we're just trying to bring anybody and not taking care of them, but the more people you help invite, the more yeses you're going to get, the more no's you're going to get, but also it leads you closer to your yeses. So I really like that. There's a book called Go for No by Eric Worre, which is really good. You can even look him up on YouTube or whatever, read some stuff like that, because that really helps. If you have a hard time feeling rejection, if you have a hard time bringing it up just because, well, what if they say no? Go for the no and make yourself a list so that you are winning. Make yourself a list and say, I'm going to ask 20 people to join today because I want 20 no's. And if somebody says a yes, they can't make it on your list of no's, because then as soon as you get your 20 no's, then you can celebrate because you're winning. You did your goal. Instead of like, oh man, I wanted somebody to join today and everybody said no. You can be like, dude, I'm winning. I got my 20 no's, you know? So it's silly, but so much is mindset with sponsoring, even with selling, with everything in our business. So the more you can make it a game and make it something that is fun for you, it'll be fun for them. And you know what's weird? So when Dave had just graduated from his graduate school, he got an MBA. We were crazy money in debt. And he was trying to start his own business for like marketing consulting and stuff like that, and strategy, because he's so good at it. And so we had no money. In fact, we had less than no money because we had $100,000 in debt. And so he would go out to these business lunches and where he would be trying to land these clients. And he would just find that when he was like, oh man, I really need this client, they would be a lot of money. We need to pay our rent. He usually wouldn't get it. But when he was just kind of like, oh, you know, if I get him, I get him. But he wasn't like beggy or that bad hungry, you know, then, and he was just like inviting them. I think then he would usually land the client. I think the difference wasn't that he was hungry, because it's good to be hungry. I think the difference was he was desperate. And it made it feel like he needed it and they were doing him a favor, which nobody really wants to be hiring somebody when you feel like that. Now, it's true, he had a superior offering to give them. He's so good at what he does, but they weren't able to see that. Just like you guys have a superior offering. We have a great team. You guys are all amazing sponsors. Anybody would be so lucky to be on your team. There are lots of Scentsy consultants that join and never hear from their sponsor, don't really have a supportive upline. We can offer that. That's amazing that not every other consultant would get. So don't be afraid to offer that. But also remember, it's not arrows in. Like when Dave was so worried about, I need this client because I need this money. It's not arrows in of, I need this recruit. This is something I have that's really special, that's really cool. And I want to let you in on my best little secret, you know, or something that's going to help your life, or something that I see in you. You'd be really good at this. So I think a lot of times if you just twist, you can be talking to the same people. You can even have the same goal. But if you kind of twist it in your mind to where you're not doing it because you want them to join your team because you need the new recruit for the month for your goal, or because you want a next promotion, or because you're trying to earn the incentive, all of those things are totally legitimate and fine to be in your goals and in the back of your mind. But when you're talking to them, make sure that what comes out is that you have this cool gift that you're giving them. You have this opportunity and you're not begging them. We are not the cute little desperate Dave who just was almost begging people to use his services when he was a consultant because he needed to feed his family. That might be true for you. It might be the same situation, but We don't need a beg. So I love how she says, I want you to learn to take the pressure off when you're prospecting. Think of it this way. You are just sharing and inviting. That's your only job. Your job is to not even make sure they join. Your job is definitely not to convince somebody to join, but your job is to help share from the heart so that it gets here. Because remember, logic leads to conclusions. They will conclude that you'll be a great sponsor. They will conclude that the startup kit is a great value. They will conclude that it's a great time to join. But emotions lead to action. So if you can find a way to use your story to help relate to them, to where they can put themselves in your shoes and be like, I want to do that. I want that in my life, or I can imagine myself doing that with her. So we want to make it look easy and make it look fun and share that side of it. Then it will be a lot more likely for others to be like, yes, sign me up. I want that too. So you are sifting and sorting. I don't want you to be emotionally connected to the outcome. I love that. That's such a weight off of our shoulders. Meaning, when you're talking to your friend Kara, you don't think, oh my gosh, she's going to be so good. I have to convince her to join. I've got to get her. It's more just, you know what? If she's ready, she'll recognize that opportunity. And if you're able to connect and just come from the heart and just be like, hey, look, I really think you'd be so good at this because you're so friendly. And I just think you have so many friends and you're just a natural connector. People are going to want to connect to you, and that will make this business, you'll be really successful at this business, and I can help show you how. I just pitched you. Did you realize that? Did that feel slimy? Did that feel gross? Did that feel awkward? No. Did you feel pressured to say yes? No, because I'm not talking you into anything. I'm just merely inviting. But also, if I don't invite, what is that going to tell you? It's going to tell you that I don't think you'd be good at what I do. It's going to tell you that I'm holding this cool thing that I have that I keep telling you is so great and I love it, but I'm a little too selfish to offer it to you. So that kind of mind flipping helps you keep it in perspective of what we are doing in our approach. That will keep you from ever being spammy. That will keep you from ever just cold calling anybody that you don't know or haven't seen in 50 years and be like, you know, the hey girl, hey message, you know, that's not what we're talking about here. That's not what I'm talking about a numbers game or about inviting and then letting them decide. It's about creating relationships. So she talks about making your list of 100. She actually talks about making your list of 200. Did you catch that? I was like, wow, that's a nice long list. And starring your top 20 or somehow, you know, putting on those glasses to focus it. The list that I had you make actually had you write B, H, or J beside it, so you could know which one of those was most likely to happen or that you would feel more comfortable asking them to do. So you've kind of already sifted that out. I was listening to a training today that was fabulous. I'm going to see if I can download it and then upload it for you guys if you want to. It was an hour long, but it was so good. It was this consultant out of England, and she's so good. And she was talking about how she takes her list of 100, and instead of even inviting those people or talking to them, how she works her list of 100, she takes 10 new contacts every week. And she doesn't talk about Scentsy at all. She has enough Scentsy on her personal page, like on Facebook or on Instagram, that if they come to creep her, they'll see it, and they'll already be advertised to and the soft sell, if you will, because they'll see her fun pictures, they'll see her face with her products, or they'll see a video of why she loves whatever dish soap this week or whatever. So what she does with her 10 contacts instead is she works on that relationship, doesn't even mention Scentsy, but just comments on their post or sends them a PM. Hey, just thinking about you. What's life like for you nowadays? You know, how are you doing? So she works on those relationships, knowing in her mind that, yeah, I would love for you to come join my team. But the actual actions she's taking is, I will take a step to, because they're genuinely people that you like and know and trust anyway. So it just helps us to maintain those relationships. So anyway, so that's another way that you can do your prospecting. So there are a lot of ways to do it. The only wrong way is to not do it. The more you do it, even doing it scared, the better you'll be at it, no matter what prospecting ways you try. But make sure, do you remember how we did our Scentsy system circles where we have a whole bunch of rays sticking out? On your recruiting and prospecting and sponsoring circle, look at those different rays. And if you're like, I don't want to do that, I'm really bad at that, and this one is not working, try something new. find a way to get it. And it's not just about your delivery, it's about finding people and prospecting. It's kind of like you're sifting the pan for gold. You're just looking and putting on those glasses so you see them, as well as, you know, making yourself and your business look attractive so that people would say, I want that in my life, whether it's for the money, it's not always about the money, or the self-improvement or the fun, or even just the happiness. You know, find it. If Scentsy is not your happy place, then let's make it your happy place, because it really can be, whether it's friendships or team building or recognition or creating your own goals or self-development or travel opportunities or whatever it is. Find that spark in yourself to where Scentsy is your happy place. And then you will not be able to help but just, it will come out of you, because you will feel it and it'll be genuine. And then you won't feel spammy, and we won't be the typical direct sales spammy either. And you'll have a lot more luck. So a couple of big things: go for the no. Don't be afraid of people saying no. That just means it's either not the right time, which is great. You don't want somebody to join and then not be successful because things are just not the right timing for them. But you want to be able to make sure that you invite. I did have one girl once, this was a long time ago, but I finally asked her to join me, and I was a new consultant, but I finally asked her to join me after she'd hosted for me for a couple times, and she was a great, great customer and things like that. And I finally, after probably 2 years, I was like, you know what? I've never asked her to join. And I finally asked her to join. She didn't end up joining, but guess what she said? She said, I didn't think you wanted me on your team. I see you asking all these other people. I see your team growing, and you never asked me. So she just assumed, as we humans do with our lack of self-confidence, that it was her. Whereas I was like, I just value you, and I don't want you to think that I'm spammy. You know what I mean? So again, if we look arrows out and we make it more about them and from their perspective, what's going on in their life, it'll make it a lot better for all of us. And then even if they don't say yes, they will feel honored that you saw something special in them and you wanted them on your team. You handpicked them to invite them to get to work with you, to have fun, to travel with you, to go to SFR with you, to do incentives with you, all these fun things. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for our best teammates because we get to pick our coworkers. So anyway, we didn't even scratch the surface of what's in the chapter, so make sure you read it and you take notes. I know, it happens every week, and we have 3 minutes, and I really try really hard to keep it at a 30 minutes. And now that you all have been with me for 5 weeks, you know that's darn near impossible for me. So, okay, so hopefully you've all printed this off. If not, you have your homework for the week. I tried to go easy on you, so you guys stop calling this boot camp. Just kidding. I like that it's hard, because look what it's doing to you. You're all having great success. But anyway, I did try to let you guys kind of take a breather, because this is more about like heart work than even just digital asset creating, because now you've got your great tools. So now we can go a little bit deeper. So again, this is talking about kind of why we would sponsor and why we need to be recruiting rock stars from now on, as well as going on for forever. And again, there's my favorite quote on the front right here. This Donald Cannon, the one that I talk about all the time. The essential difference between emotion and reason is that emotion leads to action, where reason leads to conclusions. So here's my favorite neurologist for that one quote, because I use them all the time in my parenting, in my team leading, in my teaching, whatever it is I'm trying to do. The more we can connect on an emotional level, the more they can see. That's why they say facts tell, stories sell. It's because it really helps get into that emotional side of things. So change your perspective. Again, we've talked about that a lot tonight. A lot of sponsoring is about your mindset and how you look at it. Kind of like Dave. Remember Desperate Dave? Let's not be Desperate Dave. Change your perspective. Number 2, bite-sized stories. You can create what I like to call your arsenal of stories. Start writing now just a little list of what are all the things, and it's in, I think that's one of our things. Yeah, list of stories you could share with potential recruits on your worksheet. What are some successes you've had? What are some goals you've reached? How has Scentsy helped you? As well as what are some stories of even product-based? What are some stories of testimonials from customers or team members or something like that you can share? It doesn't always have to be your own story. You could always share other consultants or customers' experiences as well. Again, it's facts tell, stories sell. The more that you can paint the picture of what it's truly like. A lot of people think that it's really, really a lot of pressure and that it's just a really stressful kind of thing, instead of like, oh no, look, we get to belong to this amazing community. So bite-sized stories of short little things of how it's helped you, or things like that. Direct versus indirect. This is the part where you decide, once you decide that you want to talk to somebody, you decide there's usually two good ways to ask somebody to join. You either ask them straight up and you say, you know what, Susie, you are such a good businesswoman. I see you're so on top of things. You keep track of things so well. And I really can see you being a really good business owner. And I have this great business. I'd love for you to come join me. Let's run a business together. That's the direct approach, where you see something, some little small something in somebody, and you directly tell them what you see. I see something in you, so come join me. Not that Scentsy would be good for you, but you would be good for Scentsy. How would you be good for Scentsy with your unique individual thing? And that'll keep it from ever being spammy. Train your eye to see that in people, and then that'll be the best compliment you can ever give them. Even if they never join, they will leave your conversation feeling uplifted. And especially if you can see something in them, lots of times people don't even see in themselves. So that's the direct method. The indirect method is, who do you know? You know, I have this opportunity to join, or I'm looking for 2 people to mentor this month. Who do you know who might be wanting to start a business or whatever? That's the indirect approach. And then why now? It's always the best time to join Scentsy. And so if you think about some ideas of why, we don't want to pressure anybody, but there is a lot to be said for momentum. Have you ever wanted to do something, and then if you thought about it too long, you kind of get cold? Even if it's a good thing, fear creeps in, doubt creeps in, logic creeps in, all the things. Even if it's something good, like you want to work out, or you're going to go on a new exercise program, or you're going to whatever it is. And then if you don't just jump in, then all the stuff starts to pile up and then you don't do it. So why is now the best time to join? Like today, right now, it's always the best time to join. We're not being car salesmen. We're just helping them jump in before their own fear takes over. So, and then there's some samples. Dave has written some samples of examples of pitches and color coded the different sections of it. And then here's the craft your own pitch. So again, the first part, and that's one of your challenges, to at least come up with 5 on this list. List individuals you'd like to approach directly. If you have nobody on your list, that's okay. Then it's time to start prospecting so that you can even add new people to your list. List of stories you could share with potential recruits. Those could be your own stories. It could be a story of somebody that you've seen. Write as many stories, little bite-sized stories as you can think of. And then list reasons why it's a good time to join for all 12 months, or just, when is it the best time to join and why? It's always a good time to join. So any questions about sponsoring in general, or even just about your homework for the week? So the one is to print this off and fill it out. Another one is to, and make sure you have 5 in that number 1, 5 different prospects that you're going to talk to. And then the other challenge was to perfect your little pitch and share your little pitch live because a lot of times you guys are working in your little tiny teams and you're helping each other, but I don't get to see all of your results and things like that. So as well as to help us get over the fear of we've got to put ourselves out there and go live. So go live in our LDU group, giving your short little pitch, pretending like you've just met somebody and you want to approach them. You can use the direct approach. You can use the indirect approach. Share your little story, your little bite-sized nugget, just to practice, because the more you do it, the better you'll be at it. So, all right, you guys are awesome. Here's to a great week of prospecting, so that then you can work on sponsoring, because you can't sponsor if you don't have any potentials, right? So again, remember, we are sharing, we are not selling, and we are inviting, we are not coercing. You're not begging anybody or making them join your team. Just invite. And then if they want to, they will see the opportunity. If they don't, it's okay. They're not rejecting you. They're probably scared themselves. So don't let it be a reflection on you. It's a reflection on them. It's either not the right time, or they just can't get over, the stigma of direct sales, or whatever it is. Don't take it personally. You're just inviting. Your job is to just invite. So anyway, you guys are awesome. Here's to a great week, and good job making it this far in the LDU. You guys are rock stars, and we will talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.